Hey, this is Michael. Welcome in. In this video, I'm going to show you about my 4 blogging productivity tips before I actually start working on the content inside of my actual website, editing it, adding the images, grammar checks. Grammar checks are done, but all these little things in between. So what I'm going to show you here is my process. Let me go into Google Docs. So you can use Google Docs if you're using something like Wealthy Affiliate. They have their own content editor, WordPress, whatever that is. You can actually use it inside of WordPress as well. But I'll tend to use documents from time to time, and I'll have a dedicated document for all those posts. I keep adding to the same one. And then over time, just to refresh things up, when I get to a point where I'm like, there's a lot of it in here. It's time to get out with the old, putting a new document, and that's going to help your mindset. It's like when you take out the trash or when you do your laundry, you put everything away. Are you removing the clutterness around you and then starting off fresh again? So you can always create a new one. But once inside of there, what I'll do when I'm done with my post, I'll kind of copy it, transfer it on over here to Grammarly. I use Grammarly, and I recommend you use that, okay? If you haven't gotten started with it, if there's an area down below in the description, make sure you check that out, get in there and download it. You can use the downloadable free extension and go from there. But it's gonna help check your grammar, and it's gonna help your punctuation skills. So that way when people come and read your content, they're actually appreciating it for it being correctly right, and they're not going to want to bounce away, because people will. They read a certain word, it just takes one word, they're off, and they go to your competitors and they say, okay, I'm going to become a lead of them, or I'm going to buy from them. All right, so Grammarly, I highly recommend you use it if you're not using it right now. Now, what I'll do is I tend to, when I paste the content, I'll go from the top down, okay? So I'll make all these corrections here. I'll click here. Right now, and I'll be in my own head at the time. I'm not saying things out loud, but so I'll be going through the content, and this is a demo one. And once it's done, then I sometimes just copy the whole thing. I can go ahead and select all, Control C, or wherever you do that. I'll go create the new post, and then I'll put the title in there first, and like WordPress is what I'm using. And then I won't focus on the rest of this here, but I'll save it in the draft. And then I'm using the Thrive Architect theme, by the way. So that's why I open up the Thrive Architect. But you may just have the WordPress, and that's fine. You can go ahead and paste the content right here where you need to in the WP editor, but I'm using Thrive Architect. And you can post it there, and I'll show you what I do from here on out. So this is kind of one of the last steps, right? We're going to post it into the editor we're using. And I like to start off backwards, okay? I may do a little bit of spacing in between, because sometimes I need to do the spacing from top to bottom. But when I get to the very bottom, and this is what I need you to know, this is where all the fun comes in. This is about reverse engineering it, okay? Whether you're blogging for affiliate marketing, e-commerce, whatever that is, okay? The whole business is about how do you reverse engineer to get the results you want. So when you think about how do you get somebody to buy from you, that might be at the very bottom, right? Because at the very top might be the content. That's how you add the value, you build the relationships, the know, like, and trust factor. But we have to start from the bottom, and the bottom may be that offer. And then what comes before that? We have the actual story or the monetization funnel. And then after that, we then have the headlines, and then we have like all that content. So what I like to think about it when I put a blog together, this makes it your mind expand, and it makes it more pleasurable and exciting, and it makes you want to actually edit. Because think about it, you don't pick a platform just to go and do it because you want to try. Well, you do, and then you get eventually better at it over time. That's what I did with blogging. I did not want to do it at all. Got better at it over time. And so what happens is I learned my own ways of being able to enjoy it more. So what I say to people is pick a platform that you're not only going to become fluent and better skill-wise, but you're going to appreciate editing. So if you hate editing a YouTube video, a podcast, a social media post, don't do it. But if you enjoy, or even if you don't have to enjoy it, but if you think that the blog would be like, it's not bad, let's do it then. But even, it doesn't even have to come down to that. So what I do, okay, so I'll start off with, since I'm using Thrive Architect, you might be using like an HTML where you can go ahead and plug them in. But this is very quick, right? I already have it on my table here. And this is what's going to take your productivity to the next level. So if you're using something like Elementor Pro, Elementor free paid, whatever that is, um, with Thrive Architect, you can pin whatever you need to use. This is going to take your game to another level. Okay. Why? Because you're going to be able to have everything in front of you. You don't have to go scrolling, right? That little mouse you have to press to go all the way down, or if you're using a touch screen, which I am right now, I have to go through and find them. No, I can just pin them to the top. See, look at my text. Boom, drop it in wherever I want. No, I don't want it. Let's go ahead and add another one. Want an image? Boom, drop it in there. See how fast that is? As opposed to going from, the very bottom and then working your way back up. Or you can do that with a WP editor. You can go ahead and click on a new block, click that new image, put it in there. But I'm going to show you how to take that to the next level, especially with images. But what I do here is I add my Thrive Architect. Boom, I work there. Then I'm going to work backwards. What do I want recommended posts? This might be one of the very last things I do too, because I'll think about that later on. So I'll work with the current content that I have. But what I put is my Thrive theme, opt-in, whatever that is, wherever you're taking them to. And then what I do is I'll leave that later on, but then I'll put a call to action normally. So this is normally it. This is the ending points, this guide. And then I'll put in my call to action. Boom, the offer is your call to action. What is the ultimate thing you're trying to get them to take action on? So again, like everything else, you start off with the offer. And that's what I'm starting off with here. It makes it more exciting, more enjoyable, because then I get to know what the offer is. And it's more clear to me because now I can put the button there, put the link in there that it takes them to. I use buttons all the time. Okay. There are some times where an exception, I'll use a hyperlink, which is fine. That works too. But sometimes, I notice the click-through rates are much higher when I use a button. Okay. Depends on how the content is lined up as well. But what you can also do here, for example, I have one hyperlinked, is I can go over here and change the color. Boom. Right, I can do that. And accenting the color, right, it's kind of like the design in a way where it like pops out into the reader's eye. Just imagine if somebody was reading and they're like getting to a point where they're like looking for a certain place to go and they're like, oh, there it is, in bright orange. It's what they were looking for. And I see that all the time and it works for me. So then I'll work backwards. I'll put the H2 font. Normally, this is at it's not even at a font yet, so I'll kind of like copy this here, and I'll create a new text block. Okay, and I'll do this. This should be it. Kind of let you see the color. And then I'll go, it's usually in paragraph format, so then I'll go, we'll let that go. And then I'll go ahead and do the paragraph 2 is what I use. I won't worry about the colors yet, but then I'll work my way back up, and then that's a new block for that. Colors and the design, that's at the end. And then I won't think about using this. I'll put more little in content Thrive Architect or those in content lead forms you can take them to. And then I'll do the same with the next one. I'll go ahead and look at that, but I already know the way my template is laid out. So I know in the very end parts, like from this last part here, the conclusion, this is basically the conclusion, the final verdict or final thoughts and next steps. And then boom, okay, I know there's no image, or I don't need a link here yet. There's no link. I need to go hyperlink. I know for a fact I don't need to. Then I'll come up here, what I like most about it. Usually there won't be a link underneath this section, no images. I just keep doing the same thing, adding a new text, H2. And then I come back up here. I don't even worry about this yet. And then I'll come up here, who's it for? Usually there's no link here. Maybe I'll add a link later on, but I'm gonna do it now. See, no images yet so far. Maybe a video here and there. But still, you don't have to have one. But then I get to the alternative section. Sometimes I'll have an alternative section. And now this is where I cognitively know that I'm going to need to add the links because I have alternatives. So that's where I start working my links in more. And I put my options there and I start linking and linking. I go back to my post if I need to link and then move my way back up again. And then that might take a minute or two depending on how many alternatives or how many links you're taking them to. But there you see this orange font. Give them more resources, more links, the alternative section right there. That's where it started from. And then we work our way back up. And now above all that, there may be images, right? We just went through like the bottom third. I call it the bottom third. The first, the intro, the bottom, the second, the meat, and then everything else is like who's it for, the pros and the cons, the little minute details that make the biggest differences ultimately, because you're showing more of your opinion as well. And so here I'm starting to add images, but the proper way of doing this, okay, especially what I love using about Thrive Architect and these kind of editors. So let's say, let me open up the snipping tool. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit of load, and if it doesn't, it's fine. We'll go from there. But I'll open up the snipping tool, and I'll go ahead and sometimes take, if I'm doing a review or if I'm going to go find some testimonials, maybe I'll use a snippet of it. I'll put it in my post. And here's the luxury of it. And here's where you become 10x productive. Okay. Actually, before I show you that, I wanted to say that first and foremost, I don't put the images in the beginning. So I'll do the whole linking thing. I'll come up here, H2, H3s. I know where my H3s are, and I'll put all the links where I need to. Sometimes I do this at the very end. I'll do my little overview or summary, put my hyperlinks and stuff like that first, table of contents. I get an idea of it first, and then maybe the next day or in the evening when I'm free, if I have that time, then I'll go ahead and start doing the images, right? And then I'll also, again, in a way, work my way from the bottom up. But, that's the fun in it. You don't have to. It's just the fun in it. And you can also start from up here. There are times where I do start from the bottom and then I'll work my way up here because I'm trying to find a point where I'm missing. So then I'll just say, okay, I'll just start from here and work back down. So the luxury in this is, let's say I take a snippet of this, but it's on a site. It's on the main site, right? I can save it. Right? We'll do a save as feature here. I'm going to do a little, I'm going to do something very quick here just to demonstrate to you the quickness at which I get this done with. You will never look at this ever the same way once you know this. So once I do the save, there's one that already exists. Let's give it a different number, 14. All right, so what happens is I can go over to my images, simply add an image there, okay? And then I'm gonna upload the file. While that's loading, look, I can go wherever it was I needed to go in and get another picture. Now I can go take another snippet, boom, or whatever it is I needed to do, get that picture taken care of in that allotted amount of time, save it, boom. Now what happens? I can go back into my editor and guess what? Oh, this is already loaded, boom. Put the alt text in there, done. Now, if I wanted to duplicate it, and where you can duplicate it and that works good is with reviews. If you're trying to use snapshots, boom. Now what happens? 1111. And then now that picture is loading, what do? I go again to get that next picture, whatever it is I need to do. And I take another snippet of that. Boom. Name it the correct file, right? Don't just name it something. I'm just showing you here by random. Okay, but then what happens? Boom, that video, that's done. Most people, what do? They wait for that image to load. Boom, duplicate it if it's another review. And go do what did I say? Go do it again. Boom, and you keep going on. Now you can go to another one. Go and put it in a different location. But the purpose of this is it's gonna save you a lot of time, okay, and energy. You're not going to get frustrated. I know I'm patient. I'm a patient person, but I don't want to be there. When you become at a point where you're so productive and you become very good at this, let me tell you, those little minute details make the biggest difference. They do. And I've complained to other people. Sometimes it was down. Sometimes I couldn't load an image. And I said, look, this slows down my productivity. I actually told a support team, they're the best, but it's like, I've had it couple of times already in a row. This cannot happen. And I told them, look, the reason it is, and I didn't have to, is because of my productivity. I need my productivity levels to stay up here. When you're up here focused, you don't want to drop. And that's how you make it happen. Go ahead and continue to add those images. Keep moving up the chain block or down, if you whatever way it is you're going, and put all that out there. Right. And then what I like to do too is I'll actually add this towards the very end, where I can put it in the middle, a summary above the folds and my table of contents. And then there you go, I'm done. And then I can come back here and add the subtitle to it if I need to, and then add the meta title, meta description, the keywords in there. Go ahead and go to Canva later on, right? I go to Canva and I use that, and I'll bring in the, it's going to want me to save. No, we're going to leave. And then I go to Canva and then I go make that picture, download it, ready to go. But at the same time, what am I doing? I don't just rely on that. What I'm doing too, boom, I'm opening up my Bing account, or sorry, let's go to Webmaster Tools, because I'm going to submit it to Google Search Console for Bing Search Console. And then I can do it with Google if need be. And then I can go to YouTube and put it in the discussions. But I'm working at a pace where I'm like, boom, boom, this is done after I uploaded the picture. Let's move on to the next thing. I know I already submitted this. And you can even submit it ahead of time before you even put the featured image in. Boom, submit. Go ahead, refresh the page to get that URL. Copy the URL from this page if you want to. Go and submit the URL there. Go to YouTube, go to Google Search Console first if it is. Move your way. But don't waste the time, okay? There is always time for you to do it, but just maximize and optimize, okay? That's the key ingredient here. That's why I always leave templates. Done for you templates, already done. Boom, 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 good to go. Just transfer the words. I just copy this, whatever it is, and then put it in the design that I have right here, right? So I go, this might look a little sloppy, missing the eye, but it's this one, I do it, boom, boom. And then I go ahead and do the background, change the background, whatever that is. And then you put the, all right, go and get the subtitle, put the subtitle in there, boom. And then look, fast. This doesn't need to be there. That's wasted space. And then I can go ahead and download it, save it, add it into my images here, update it. By the time all that's done, you're already going ahead and then you can go ahead from here and then upload it to Bing, Google Search Console, YouTube, wherever that is, and you're done like that. That is the key. To some people, they waste so much time and energy. I don't want to edit. I don't want to put an image. And I get that. I still feel like that to this very day, but that has allowed me that speed, but quality to ramp up from just 2 posts to 3 to even 4, 5, and 6 plus. I'm not even joking. Just by myself doing it. I don't have to outsource it to somebody, especially if you're in the beginning stages, not outsourcing. Boom, that gets done like that. Just got to put your head down and do it. Put your, not even in your headphones, but close the doors, spend that hour. Say, look, I got 30 minutes to just do the links today on these 3 posts, and that's all I'm going to focus on with the templates that I have. And then in the evening or tomorrow, I'm going to put the images in. After I do more writing, I may put the images in out of these posts, submit them, boom, gone. In the second day, you're done. That's it. All right, so hopefully that helped you understand the productiveness of the blogging aspect. And there are little things that I do that I maybe didn't cover, but when I'm in the swing of my things, I go, okay, and I do them to the highest efficiency. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, if there's an area for you to leave that, let me know down below. Let me know if you're losing productivity, if you would rather you get more productivity added to what you already have, looking for new ways of doing it. But yeah, it's not a secret. It's just what I've developed as well. I've learned from other people, but I know what works best for me, and it may work just as well for you, especially that whole work my way from the bottom when I copied it into the editor, right? Then I'm like, offer the message to the very top of the headline, boom, 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 the links where they need to go. I know where I'm going. I'm pacing myself. Done. Next post, let's put it all in there again. Grammarly, back into there, boom, same process. And then evening or tomorrow, the next day, whatever that is, put the images in at that rate that I was showing you how to do them. And once you get the swing of things, once you know what you're doing, the templates help a lot. The world is yours. Okay, now that's just one of the many ways. I may have more videos down below if there's a description area. If not, don't worry about it for now. But this is one of the biggest productivity hacks and tips that I can show you to maximize your time, save yourself a lot of time. The mistakes, the headaches, I know how that is in the very beginning, especially, and throughout. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And that is all from me. Thank you.